Hello and welcome back to the Cave of Creation. I've created the cave, but as you can see, we're not in it right now. We're still stuck in Deescombe Manor, but we will be moving soon. I haven't been on for a while. Those reasons are unimportant right now. What I'm doing today is another one of my Heroforge talkthroughs. I'm going to be creating a character that is a little bit special because this one is being created for one of my wife's students who has just discovered D&D and would like to see her character immortalized. So she's drawn some artwork. We'll go look at that and then we will move down and get into Heroforge. So here is the base picture she's created for her character, who is a Satyr bard. And so we'll be using that basis for the pose and for the body. And then she's done this little bit close up of the face, which is really well done. So we'll be using that for the face. So if we move into Heroforge, and you can see that we've got the art, so you can see what we're doing as we go through. Species, and we want to come down to fawn. Down and down and down we go. Fawn. Female fawn. Still not quite the look we want, but we're getting there. So, head. Now that face, if we go back, looks far more delicate to me than the slightly harsh one we've got. So I'm going to go to delicate features. And horns, which probably want to be on the forward side of the head. And then if we come running down, not broken, curved fey horns. Not quite right, but close enough for right now. What they are doing is conflicting with the ears. So let's go into the ears. No, I'm not giving her elephant ears. That's just a quick way to make them go away. Hair. And if I come down here, shaggy hair. Seems to fit quite well with what we have. So there we have a certain amount done on her face. Body, well, fawns are fairly short, so we go into measure, height, and 5'2", I think. And if we come back, certainly not heavy, so I'm going to reduce her weight. But I don't like what that's done to the legs. It's made the legs a little too thin. So I'm going to increase the weight of the legs a little to make them a bit more Satyr-like. There we go. Build again, slim build. Let's pull the waist in a little, but again we've got to watch because that doesn't look very natural. So to about there. Curves we can probably help if we bring those in a little. And take the waist out a little. So it's a little more natural. There we go. Tail is about right. So, on to clothing. Head has got nothing on it till we get to the neck. So, head. Nothing we need there. So, let's move down. There's nothing particular on the shoulders. So if we ping down here, that looks a bit too fancy. But might be okay with something over the top, because if we look, she's got something coming up to her neck. I know I've got nothing quite like that. So what we need to look at is what we have that can produce a similar effect. Now we're almost certainly going to be layering something over the top of this, which gives us a certain element of freedom. Jesters. Actually, that's quite good natively, so maybe we'll just go for that. Though it doesn't go all the way round, there is something definitely there in the neck area on that one. And that's when you're working with this. What you're doing is you're looking for ways to combine what you've got to create the look that you're working on. So I'm just going to continue flicking down. And all I'm really doing on these is looking at the neck. In that first one had possibilities, but we need to look at what we could put over the top. Looking at the kind of top she's wearing, that worked quite nicely with what we had originally. I don't think the Disciple of Death quite fits. Wouldn't be too bad if it didn't have the Death Head skull on it. Not that one. The reason I'm skipping past a lot of these is if we go back to that, I'm already familiar with them, and again, doesn't really fit what we're looking for. She's got some kind of armor from looking at that across the chest, but it's going to be a light armor. It's not going to be a heavy armor. It's a bard character. Bit harsh. Quite nice though, I haven't noticed that one before. That one's a bit gentler. Still a bit over armor like. If you look, that's far more fabricy and light armor, so let's just make it go away. Because if we come back up the top here, wasn't that one? I'm not completely against it. It's got the high neck. That one was the one I was looking at. Certainly not that one. This is the headache. If you move away from what you were looking at, you forget what it was. Okay, at my age, if you walk away from your chair, you forget where you are, but that's a different matter. I quite like that one. That one's not far off what we've got. It's not doing what I want with the neck. Again, bit solid. Interesting, but not quite the look I'm going for. And a bit fancy. There's a lot of faffing moving backwards and forwards to find exactly what the fit you're looking for is. And I had an idea and it seems to have gone out of my head, but as I've said before, remembering where I am is a struggle at times. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's leave the poor girl dressed. Of course, Heroforge is very, very deliberately designed so that it will not create anything inappropriate. So we're starting to get somewhere with that. Not only can I not remember things now, I don't know actually what I'm saying. And yeah, I think we'll stick with that option. So, moving down. She's an instrumentalist, so we don't want any gloves. We're not going to want anything on the feet, but we're going to want something on her legs. Now, the base legs, I'm going to use these so they don't come down too low. I don't have anything quite the way we have over there, because I don't have anything that will go above the knee. So that's the closest I'm going to get there. We go over, and I think that works quite nicely. So we have the clothing done. Gear. Well, to start off with, that's obvious. Quick search. I'm going to go for the larger harp. Now, before I do anything else, and I might come back and add things, I'm going to go to the final pose, because checking the final pose means I know the positions and what will work. And every time you change pose, you'll find that all of the little bits and pieces move to a default position. So the legs position is the important part with the pose, though that's the reverse from the look of the picture, which is showing leg behind. So, being tricky, I'm just going to come up the top here and mirror it. Now, it mirrors everything, not just the pose. So what I now need to do is go back to gear, harp, and switch it into the other hand. So our legs are about right, and the rest is negotiable. I'm going to come back to body and just improve her posture slightly. Make her a bit more upright. So. Just have a look at the face. Trim the smile down a fraction. Bit of a smile, but it's kind of slight sly smile, I feel. So there we go. That's more like it. Eyes are irrelevant until we've actually done colour. And I'm not trying to move the heart yet. I need to move the shoulder and get it into position. Out too far. Pull back a bit. It's all about just tweaking it until you get it right. You get something that you're happy with. Let's bring the quite far. There we go, that's a bit better. Now you've got to be careful when you're playing with the elbow, because quite often the default poses aren't in a position that the elbow change will enable you to directly replicate to replace it, which can mean you then need to resort to recreating or going back a large number of steps. So if we come back over here, yep, we're not going to get anywhere near that pose for the heart that she seems to be carrying. We've got something that works for that there. And if we go to the other arm and just bring the elbow up, and then probably rotate it in a bit. Now I'm going to come and look at the hand. Sorry about that. And I don't have a huge equivalent pose to the one she's got. I don't think preparing for a knuckle punch quite fits. That one actually might be quite nice. So that's our front location. I'm just going to tweak her head slightly so it's slightly more up, slightly more alert. Actually, no. Keep it that way, but no. Just slightly off center. If I'm trying to match the picture, it really ought to be off center the other way. There we go. So we have our default pose and body in place. Stage. Face. And I'm just going to put in a nice grassy area. Back to gear. And I want a pouch. And I want it on the side. that in pose, but let's be a bit on the realistic side, and she's an adventurer. Let's just give her a knife on the other side. That's not in the picture, but the picture is only a quick picture, so let's go to the knife, and I want it to move a bit further in. Coming off the belt, and if I go to the pouch, didn't want that. Pouch, and out a bit. Bit. See, gravity doesn't work quite that way. So, but I take it all the way forward. Twist it. Bend it so that I lose the very ugly looking connector. There we go. I'm not going to put anything on the back. And actually I'm going to change the location. So let's go back to stage. Base and give me floorboards. Adventure, she doesn't have to be inside. And there's another fire. No, what if I campfire? Some logs to go beside it. Back to pose. So, final bits here. I'm going to move her sideways and twist. Move my campfire. More will be relevant in winding the campfire stuff later. Let's get off to the side there. Like so. And then she can move a bit more central. So we have our miniature. What I was going to do, because if we go to her head, see, we haven't quite got these right. Don't need to scale them, but I do kind of need to do something along the lines of this. Back a bit. Go. Still not perfect. I'd need to invert them, and I can't do that easily, but it's a bit closer. What if I can move them back a bit this whole Princess Leia thing going on. It'd be better if the hair could go over the... But that's too high. And this is just lots of fiddling until you get something that looks right. Back to head. Turn those off and go back to pose. Do get your positioning right. So, positioning is done. Colour. Let's go for the default redhead. I will tweak those in a moment. So, mix. Hair colour. Open it up. The first thing I'm going to do is change the roughness so it doesn't look so plasticky. And then it was darker red, so let's take these down a bit. Let's get the low really low. So redder red, for want of a better word. Possibly not for this side of the spectrum. There. Bit redder on the mid. That's more like it. And ease out the roughness a bit so it's a bit more glossy. A bit of fuzz just gives it that bit being picked up. Repeat that for the back bit of the tail. Go. Now the horns are far darker, so if we come back into paint, bone, dye a goat brown. Just checking that it's it is two distinct colours, so could do is dye goat brown. Coming out of that. Wonderful name for a colour, that dye goat brown. We don't have much colour information besides the neck for what she's wearing, and I'll do makeup in a moment. So back to paints. We're going to go to cloths. Go to metals. Then dark pink. Now, for the corset, we're probably on leathers. So what I'm going to do, again, red and yellows, just to match it up. Black cloth for the cinching. Do a nice red cloth. The bulk of what she's wearing. A black cloth. For the underwear. Let's come back and get gold again. Black leather for that. Standard leather for the belt. And for there. Black for the buckling. And black for that. It's quickly going to run around and find my little bits of metal. Cloth to disappear that way. And we're starting to get somewhere. Back to gold. What you're trying to do is control the number of colours that you've got functioning. You want colours, you want it to be bold and vivid, but too many makes it messy. So, go. All the leather strapping is leather, so it all blends together to a degree. I've still got her arms to do, but I'm going to think about that for a moment. Will I do the slightly more complex option of the grass and the ground? Then woods. Beach and the other side. That's going to get tweaked, as is probably the fire. Because I forgot the logs. Now some wild greens. So dark green, but generally I want it to be lighter. Okay. A lot paler. Again, you want variance, but you don't want too much variance. Basically, that's the mud. That's the greens. So we have enough variance for it to look lively. And just do it. We're winning. Okay, now we think about her arms. Actually, what I'm probably going to do is stick with the red. I could go in and put in a different colour, but red and black is working, and it stops it getting a bit too crazy on me. Now those look like bracers, so I'm going to go to leather. And then come back to my red. The underside of it, and actually that would probably be metal, so a single metal piece of armor. Now we get to the harp. Strings. To add a bit of difference to it. Better. Get polished. Yeah, that's got a bit more life to it, hasn't it? So, decals, and let's come back and have a close look at the face. Now you can do all sorts of things with decals nowadays. If I wanted, I could put specific patterning on her clothing. I don't. I kind of like it as it is. But I am going to do her makeup. So I see freckles there. So let's start off with freckles. And she has interesting eyeshadow. I don't think I can completely match that, but I've got interesting options down here. That's probably the closest. Then I'm going to put some subtle blush on her cheeks. Switch that round and go. That is actually that shadow. being subtle. No, I can go to those again. Here will be the subtle blush on the cheeks. Going to be some lip lining. Let's do this thing. Mix. Now all of these are going to be slightly different colours. So I'm going to start off with a skin colour, duplicate it, and as initially I'm just doing the eye shadow. So it's been done. Should be able to dip that a bit. Make it a bit darker. Make sure it's doing what I want it to. Make it a bit that way. Doesn't need to be radical. So we're going to make it far less radical there. Duplicate that colour. Now it is, if you see how strong her eye makeup is. So let's get that low. It's far closer to red. I'm tempted. To paint, because there's a metallic feel to that. So actually I'm going to come in and do it with metallics. Just peel them out a bit. Go. I could almost do that. Actually, I could do that with her hair. I like that. Duplicate it. Darken the hair slightly. To darken these to create subtle. And then I'm going to come back and go into the different flesh tones. Give her a nice bright lipstick. And then down a little. Closer. And she's lined them fairly heavily, so let's duplicate it. Put it on the rest of the lips. There we go. Now she's been travelling, so I'm going to come back to my decals and use the new projected decals and a hazy fog gradient, because I find that works quite nicely. Scale height, and then I need to lift it up so it covers everything. Then come down here. I don't want it affecting the base. I don't want it affecting the fire. Don't want it affecting her eyes. I don't want it affecting her teeth. Come down here and just find one that takes the edge off slightly. So it makes it slightly dusty, slightly dirty, but far more alive. It just adds that break up so everything doesn't look so pristine and clean. Off and be annoyed with myself. I'll have to redo that in a moment. If you hadn't guessed, that's not the first time I've made that mistake, because I've got stuff I want to change over here. Or more specifically over here. So give me Rotting Harbour and copy it, because this is going to be very specific. So I'm going to come down to glow, make it nice ambery, and lift a high, give it a fiery ambery glow. And the mid, I want a glow. Probably want slightly redder than that. There we go. Now let's make you slightly higher, because what I'll do is I'll add the slightly redder version. Come down and beach. You could copy a beach, put that in the middle, and glow. This wants to become far more far more red. And what was the last one? And again, far more red. This is slightly subtler because it's in the fire. And then I'm going to come to light. Enable the first light. Click on the handles to move it. It's far easier. Even if you use the sliders, this enables you to see where it is when you're moving it on the sliders. Down about the top of the fire. There we go. And again, we want it slightly more ambery than that because it's a fire. It's not from the demon's pits of hell. So that's now just added a bit of directionality and a bit of light. I'm going to save this as hero for the moment, but I want to make sure I've saved it, and then come down to booth. I don't think we've done that badly with that. Now for scenes like this, I will always change the background and make it black. One of the things I like to create are the spinny GIFs, and they don't take transparency, so the background would end up black anyway. So this lets me see what I've got far more clearly. And I'm going to come to environment and just take out the background light and take out the foreground light. Now I'm not leaving it just like that. What I'm actually going to do is take the background light to a steel blue, about there, take the sun's rotation round behind so it provides some backlight, like it's a moonlit night, and then I can increase or decrease the intensity or just use that to boost the coldness of the colour slightly. bring this to a warmer shade of blue, and just, this will bring up the detail that's not lit. So there we suddenly start to get the shadows filling in a bit. There we go. Now, save that again. And capture 2048. Download. Save. Go to token. In. Background. On tokens, I tend to be a bit more gentle with the background, in that I leave a little bit of grey still there. So I take it a lot darker. Now currently the environment colours are completely wrong. This is the positioning. So nick back to portrait and environment. Click on the button so you get it in hex. Copy that. Come back to the token. Copy that. Move that forward. And then I'm going to pop back here. Sun rotation wants to be about there. And back to portrait. See, that one just... That's better. Thought that was a bit brutal. Take it up to there. Copy that. Because at the moment it says 000, it doesn't give me anything to copy, even though it's got the colour data there. Down to the bottom. A little purpley to me. There we go. Not what I wanted. You're what I wanted. Copy. Let's recapture that. Here, put that in, take that down to there. Again, where have I got it? About halfway. No, not right one. Go for my standard choice in frame. Capture that one. Close that. Back to portrait. Now this one will take a little while to do, which is why I did it last. Quality spinning mini GIF. I have a very powerful computer, so if you think this takes time here, on a slower computer it's going to take longer. What you don't want to do is move the frame that your window's in. So don't take it out of the browser to store it somewhere else while it goes, unless you do it before you start it running. because that affects the way the miniature sits and it will jump partway through. The other thing you can't do is move to another window. If you move to another window, you'll find that it stops and then restarts when you go back to it. It speeds up a bit when it gets to 50%. So the first 50% is it rotating, and then after it's rotated, it moves all the way up. There we go. This next bit will be a lot faster. So while it's doing that, we're done with her. Download. Close that. Make sure we've saved it all. So what it does there is it doesn't save the position, but it will save all of the lighting and all of the other bits and pieces that you have. So it's still worthwhile. So if we come back to here, so there we have the final picture of the character, the token that we've created, and the spinny GIF showing you what she looks all the way around. Now it can be exported for 3D printing to create the model. You can use these within VTTs. You can also export it in a specific format, so you can use the model in a 3D VTT. It works very well with Dungeon Alchemist. It's designed to cross automatically. So there we have this one. We've created our model for my wife's student, and hopefully she'll be very happy with it. And so I'm going to sign off now. If you've liked this, please click the like button, subscribe for more content like this. Some of it will be painting, some of it will be building in other programs or reviews of other programs. Comment. Do you want to see specific miniatures done? Do you want to see me do anything? Is there any content you'd like to see? If you comment, it helps the algorithm. More people are likely to get to see this, and I get to know your views and opinions, and they are important to me. There's also, of course, links on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, though that may disappear with all the messing about that Musk is doing. We have a Discord server. So come join us, become part of the community. And until then, I'll see you next time. Bye.